Greetings and welcome to your Friday edition of Runescape Weekly. Magebit here. Joining me today is Pyrnassius. If and only if I unmute him, because that's the type of power I hold here. That's just me trying to stall so I can find the stupid button. But I found it. Hi, Pyrnassius. How you doing?
Hello, hello.
Greetings. So, welcome. We are live. We're here. We got a show. It's a pretty decent show, I'd say. I'm excited to be here. How you doing?
It's a light show this week. A lot of rants.
You exposed us. You exposed us for what we are, charlatans.
No, well, we need a light show after after my rant a couple of weeks ago against the members of Parliament in Britain for their idiocy.
It happens. I'll tell you. RuneScape's been really heavy with CompCape stuff, and this show is probably going to be no exception. We got a little bit of CompCape stuff to talk about. But so, to throw in a bunch of lighthearted, silly rants, I think is
we need it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I think everyone is like us. I think everyone's just getting sick of all the CompCape stuff because it's like, look at this, throw it out. Look at this one, throw it out. How about this one? Throw it out. It's like, come on, you got something decent, just start tweaking. Stop,
Yeah, the whole starting from square one is getting a little exhausting, but yeah, it is what it is. So I've got a lot of stuff to still do. The stream markers are still present. I actually did do that all the way through from last episode of RuneScape Weekly. I need to transfer those over still to the YouTube version. I forgot about that. I just remember that now that I'm doing it again for this episode. I did actually do that correctly. So someone trying to remind me, because I can actually make that up for the description inside of the YouTube version, and I'm gonna try to do that for this one too, because that should be somewhat helpful for people who like to skip around and skip certain topics. Speaking of skipping over like certain discussions like CompCape and whatnot, I maybe even can get even more granular with it today in the when we're doing Q&A topics, and try and try to put stream markers inside of those specifically. Try to get more. I'm gonna try to make the show a little bit more, interactive and granular for people like that, because we are, we're going down in viewership. I don't know if you knew that, Pern, but we need to become a little more competitive, because I again, like that person said, no one wants to watch RuneScape content live anymore, Pern. Where everyone's going and watching Apex Legends and Fortnite. So we have to go.
Kids dancing game.
We have to go and find ways to be more interactive. So I'm trying to that's one of my ways. I'm gonna try and work on becoming more clickable, I guess, so people can skip around in the video. Try to hold me to that. Anyway, that's one thing I'm gonna do. I'm not literally doing it right now. That was called the host intro. Now we're gonna go into the real show, I believe, unless Pyrnassius or anyone has anything to add to that. We can do the show begins then. Now I believe I'm gonna kill the fake music here and begin the actual show music that I have stored up here. Okay, let me make sure it's actually at 25% volume. Yeah, that was at 60 something. That would have hurt. Let's bring that down to a good 25%. Okay. All right, here we go. Where are the show notes? It's good to have those in front of you, isn't it? Mm-hmm. They tell me that. All right. We're going to try to do this in a nice, wholesome 1 to 15 takes, somewhere in that range. All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for April 26, 2019. I'm your host Magebit with over 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius, and on today's show, Chargebow Fix, Portable Vic, and Stroopwafels. TLDW number 431, General Q&A. Another Splitscape. What do you mean it only lasts an hour? Vigilante Justice. All my friends are dead. Another Splitscape thread. And worst insurance scam ever. Thanks for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly. And enjoy the show. Welcome back for your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly. Magebit here. To be fair, there were only like 6 things on that docket to read, so, you know, I didn't have there wasn't a lot of hurdles for me to jump over on that one, linguistically speaking.
We've got to implore everyone to hang around for the worst insurance scam ever, because that's one of the funniest topics I've found in a long time.
Yeah. And for the first time ever, I'm like not going to plug the pre-show, because I was super pessimistic. I'm just going to be like, don't even bother listening to the pre-show. It's horrible. It's a shitty pre-show. That being said, I will switch over to game footage. Stand by. I am playing the game today.
That is basically.
It's not.
Unfortunately, it's daylight savings has ended here, and it started over there. So our times sort of. Generally a better time, but now that my son's working at the cinema, and you know he works most Friday nights now and doesn't knock off till 11 o'clock, where that's about the time you're getting on to do the pre-show, and I've sort of always got to skip it to go and pick him up. So
it leaves me to my own devices to get in my head and be depressed. If RR Man isn't around, if RR Man is around, it becomes a super mega pre-show.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah. If I'm by myself, it just becomes a beat myself up. And I literally was just looking at what I did was I went in to the back end of all of our analytics, basically, and I was like, okay, let's compare analytics from now versus like 2010. And okay, we're getting like X amount a month, and we used to get like 30,000 a month. We suck, we're dying. I hate it.
RuneScape's dying.
I'm gonna shut the show down next month, actually, because this isn't worth doing anymore, and my dream is a lie. So, like, basically, and then by the time Pyrnassius got on, I had an entire, like, new plan for the show that I actually think is a maybe, depending on, like, the way the pre-show is received by people. I'm gonna ask, I asked for legitimate feedback from Patreon subscribers, so we'll see if anyone actually gives me any legitimate feedback on those comments, because that might actually happen, and it might like majorly impact the way the show is produced. Because I think there might be a lot of people that are unhappy with the current sound and feel of the show, and I want to know if that's the case. Anyway, we can get into the show.
We can.
I haven't been. This is the first time I've been playing the game in legit. Probably almost 2 weeks.
We've dragged him away from EVE Online.
I am still playing EVE, but I've been on a 2-day break. I've been training up my mining barge skill. And I've been waiting to join a corporation, and I'm sick of waiting to join. So I'm gonna go join a different corporation. But in the downtime, I figured I would just wait for the skills that I want to train up, and I'll just play some RuneScape in that time. But then, out of nowhere, comes an invitation to play New World, the closed alpha by Amazon Games, Sandbox. Now, this game is, like, people are calling it the next EVE Online, ironically. Because like it's a lawless open universe based on, weirdly enough, 17th century North America. So it's not sci-fi, it's fantasy, but it's the same premise of like you control land and territory, and the law is set by the people of the game, not the game creators. So it's really interesting in that regard, and I just got an invite, but it's NDA, so I can't talk about it, except for the fact that I can talk about the fact that I got an invite. I know somebody who plays EVE Online. Who was that again? I know Naxter plays it, who apparently has the same name as me. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to in RuneScape?
Oh, in RuneScape, I've been still doing a little bit of the wilderness, but really been stuck into Ziliana. I managed to pick up the Kriara pet after 6,195 kills.
Oh, wow.
With a 2,000 threshold, so it took me 3 thresholds, but I did finally get it.
So you held that information. I made a reference to that pet in the pre-show, saying that you were hunting that pet, and you held that information from me. You sly dog.
Oh no, I did sort of mention. Then you said that. I thought, okay, he didn't catch it, so I'll just let it go for now. Because that's why I'm down here at Saradomin now, and I did
not catch that. Yeah, okay.
Yes, I trimmed my masterwork armor. I've had offers in the GE because the essences have gone right down. So I just put in 2.2 mil for the malevolence and 7 mil for the Praesulic essences, which was around 10-12% under what they were actually going for, and they slowly bought over a week. So I trimmed my masterwork and custom fit it so that you only lose half the charges. And basically, an hour at Saradomin only uses around 1% a charge, which is fantastic. Yeah. So basically, I've got 100 hours down here, and it's totally AFK, and I want to thank David, and I'll give this hint to everyone else as well. Ancient Elven Ritual Shard. It calls upon the Dark Elven magic to restore 37% of your prayer points over 30 seconds and has a 5-minute cooldown. Now, using that with your prayer renewal potion, combination potions, makes it basically you don't need to top up your prayers. It just keeps your prayers topped up if you've got Soul Split. I mean, obviously, if you use one of the other prayers with Soul Split, you're going to need them. But if you just run Soul Split, which is all you need down here, just makes it totally AFK.
Thank you very much.
I've just been
subscription. Sorry to interrupt you, Pyrnassius.
No, that's okay. So yeah, I've just been sitting down here doing a hell of a lot of that, and but AFK, so I can do like 3 or 4 hours at a time and just sort of watch Netflix while I'm doing it, and just chilling out. So that and Wilderness, that's basically me. I've got 4 of the pets unlocked at Wilderness now. For those who don't follow my series on YouTube, there's 14 pets in all, so 4 of them down. 10 to go.
Last week I ran on our Facebook page the first 7 or 8 episodes with a link to your YouTube channel live.
Beautiful.
At like 4 o'clock every day. I don't know if it helped at all, but just for the fun of it, I liked it. It was a fun time. I thought it was. I love those. Those are good stuff. Anything that
it's amazing how fun the Wilderness actually is.
I was saying, anything that actually gets people engaged with that content is fascinating to me. To see, like, after all this time, to actually have people engaging with the Wilderness, it was like this one simple switch.
Yep,
needed to
putting pets out there.
That's all
basically forced me to go out there.
Right.
I mean, I still have issue with the way skull tricking and such works, and we know someone who got skull tricked with the AOE. Drag a little summoning creature under someone and make them hit an AOE ability, and then you can kill them. But they really need to fix up that. And a few weeks ago, when they were talking on stream, one of the mods is working on a new death system. So fingers crossed, that'll come in, and then I'll be able to go out there in my high level gear. And when those mages come out in their T90 gear, I can actually have a proper chance against them. So
I'm so glad to hear that is actually working. Mainly because, in my opinion, that content is streamable content. And
see, and that's the thing. I would have no issue streaming wilderness content if I had proper gear and no risk of losing 250 mil in gear. If it just costs, because what they're talking about is, say you've got all your Nox gear and your T90 armor and such. When you die, you go to death, and it costs you 800 K to get back off him. Well, you'll drop 800K for the PKer, and then you've also got to pay another 800K to death. So basically, it's costing you a double death cost. Personally, I think it probably should be a little bit higher. I would probably make it an extra 20% because it is out in the wilderness. But whatever they end up doing, that's fine. But it means you get to keep your gear, and you're not risking that. And that is the biggest issue, because even now we're still having people getting scammed out there. And there just seems to be no way that they're able to stop that small percentage of PKs who do their scam tricks on people. So
that's
or skull tricks. So,
Thank you for the resub for 6 months, BladeCon. Appreciate that very much. The skull tricking is a real problem. Do you think the new death system would solve that issue, or
because you can still get skull tricked.
Yeah, but you wouldn't lose your gear; you just lose a gold.
Exactly right. You're not all of a sudden gonna lose your 250 mil Nox staff or Nox bow, whatever you've got out there. It's gonna cost you 750K. Yeah, you got skulled, but at least you're keeping your gear. You know exactly what it is going to cost you to die out there. Because all I take out there obviously is my Nox bow, and I take out just all Royal Dragonhide is all I wear out there. So if I do get killed, that's all I'm losing. I keep my main items. I don't have any. I've got a whole setup with no AOE abilities at all on my wilderness bar, because that is where a lot of the skull tricking comes in. As we said, just put a familiar under someone, and when they hit an AOE ability, that's how they're getting screwed over. But it surprised me with how much fun I am having in the wilderness, and just collecting those pets, because I like to collect those type of things. And
you weren't thinking of anyone in particular, were you, by any chance?
I was not thinking of the RR man at all.
Anyway,
I do feel bad for him. That sucks when something like that does happen. But yeah,
it does. It's never fun to have that happen. Let me see here. All right, let's pop into our main headliner for the day, shall we?
Yes, it's probably not the greatest update of the month, but anyway, it is an update. Obviously, this did come live on Tuesday too, Monday being the public holiday.
Yes. So that was the. So this
Hope
is
everyone had a happy Easter too, by the way.
Yes. If you were celebrating, if you had the holiday off, Chargebow fix, portable fix. I almost said portable fix, portable Vic, and Stroopwafels, which I've never had. They look delicious, and I want one so badly. It says here, our preparations for the Easter time fete. Is it feet or fete? I don't know.
Fate. I say fate.
Oh God, am I like triple wrong? That would figure. Fate, fete, feet. Who knows? I don't know. Are hopping along nicely, but in the meantime, we've also been working hard on some other projects, including Portable Vic, a much-anticipated fix for Chargebows, and a delicious community celebration. Read on for more. Portable Vic the Trader. Everyone's favorite trader is gearing up for more celebrations, personal service. From April 23rd to May 26th, you'll be able to exchange a bond to summon your very own portable Vic the Trader. At the press of a button, Vic will set up shop in the time you place your the place of your choosing, in his usual range of wares, including unique items, skill outfit pieces, and prismatic lamps.
Now, I just want to jump in there, and he is saying trader, Trader, not traitor,
as I like to phonically apply to it. Now
you're just saying it, and I'm saying you're saying traitor.
Now, listen to me real quickly here. The reason why I bought 9 of these is because skill outfit pieces. Vic rotates his skill outfit pieces, and it could randomly be that I might need a skill outfit piece, and I might not be logged in. Who knows? I could be in a coma, and then, if I miss the Vic window, because he's only here for like 3 days sometimes, and I might not be playing, and then I want the outfit, so I have one in my bank. I don't have to be one of those people who's writing a dumb forum post. I can just pull out one of my shards and just be thankful that I had one saved up. That's why.
And that's actually, that's. I mean, because I've got pretty much all the outfits. I just need to finish the elite woodcutting one. Yeah, I've got one complete or 2 complete ones of that. I still need to get a couple more pieces for one of them to make that complete. And I think there was one more, wasn't there, after the woodcutting? I think I've got all the hunter one. No, I think it was the hunter I just finished, so it's just the woodcutting one I have to go. So, and then I'll have all the outfits complete.
Let me continue on here. A few facts about Portable Vic the Trader. Portable Vic will have better XP exchange rates than regular Vic. It's already pay to win. It's already pay to win.
That's I thought that was only for that first one though. The first time you did one, and then after that it's back to normal. Or did they change that?
It doesn't say that here directly.
Yeah. Because when they first said it, they said the first time you get him, you'll get better exchange rates, but after that it'll be back to regular. But maybe they did change it.
It seems like they might have sneakily switched that under the radar. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I'll let you know when I use mine. Once activated, you will be able to use your Portable Vic for an hour. Portable Vic will only work for the person who summoned him, and the summoner cannot use other Vics. Vic won't be sticking around for long, so act quickly if you'd like to secure his services, meaning, it's not going to be on the bond for very long. They will remain in your bank.
Yes.
There's a frequently asked questions page. Note at this time, this is not a permanent addition to the game, as I mentioned, but it will remain in your bank. Chargebow fix. With the game update, do you want to say anything else about the portable item?
I mean, I don't mind it not being a permanent thing. I think if they did something like this as a little special 2 or 3 times a year, he's going to be just up on Solomon's store, I think is a good thing. I think that would sort of make it a more sought-after item than if they left it, because I know there are some calls. Well, if you're going to do this, leave it on Solomon's store permanently. I don't think it should be permanent. I think if you put it up for a month, twice a year, I think that would be sort of good enough and sort of keep that keep the prices up, because I mean obviously you're buying it solely for a bond, so there's no actual cash price. It is bought only with bond. There's no rune coin price or anything on it, so it will help those people who are selling bonds to maximize their profits on it.
It definitely will, and I think that's why it was brought around in the first place, was to spike bond prices during this lull period. Because
this is generally the time I buy my bonds for...
fucked me.
Because they always drop to like 15, 16 mil around this time of the year, and they just didn't drop this year, so...
Yeah, and that's pretty much where I
Which
was
is
at
smart.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not angry about it. I'm just
Nope.
like you saw. They're savvy. I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty much
It's good business.
what you would expect an investor to do if you wanted to make your money go up instead of remain stagnant, is find a
Yeah.
way to increase interest in the product during the period in which there's no interest in the product. It makes sense. Let's see here. So again, product. Let's talk about the Chargebow, another fine product by Jagex Industries. Chargebow fix. With the game update that released on the 4th of March, we introduced some changes to Chargebows. Since then, we've listened to your feedback and made some changes to Chargebows. One of the most common player requests since then has been to only make Chargebows do reduced damage when with arrows with special attacks. When used with arrows with special attacks, rather. From now on, only arrows with hit effects will be consumed by Chargebows. We're adding this fix to the game this week. So only arrows that have hit effects will be consumed. Regular arrows are not consumed by a Chargebow. So it has to have some sort of status effect attached to the arrow in order for the Chargebow to actually use the arrow. Is that to my understanding?
Yeah, so like your new
Like a Gothic's arrow, or
those blood your blood arrows. Yeah, you knew from the Bloodwood trees, those ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
I picked a really obscure arrow, but
but yes.
This next part is, oh my god, is that a word? Is
Get felicitered.
Thank you. You may have heard this before, I hope. Or did you just say that without ever hearing it?
No, I was trying to. I when I first read that, I took several attempts and then I just practiced it, just in case I was called on to do it in the show.
on the 22nd of April, we'll be saying happy birthday to our Dutch community who have been active in RuneScape for 10 whole years. To celebrate this momentous occasion, to celebrate this momentous occasion and the Dutch festival King's Day on the 27th, Stroopwafels are coming to RuneScape. To get your hands on these delicious delicacies, look for Wilhelm near the windmill in Taverley. Only the most discerning of adventurers will taste them and figure out which kind of Stroopwafel tastes the best. A few people from the Dutch community have planned additional activities, and information for these can be found at a page located there. They have some information on the website. There you go. Stroopwafels. So we have an entire event attached to the Stroopwafels, and that begins again on April 26th, which is an entire event. You can attend in the forums if you'd like. I'm intrigued, to say the least. It's interesting that they have such a dedicated little community. That's nice.
Yes.
Anyway, moving along.
The charity?
Let's see here. Would you like to talk about the charity section while I...
Keep a lookout for our charity partners at the Easter Time Fete. Representatives from the CPSL Mind and the Princess Trust will be in attendance, full of information about their respective charities. Don't forget that any purchases made during the Gilded Extravaganza, including purchases from the Solemn Sort, will go straight to the charity. You will also get a hefty chunk of crystallite fragments for donating. It's a win-win. So I did not realise that any purchases made through Sullivan's store for this also goes to their charities. So that is fantastic.
Yeah, they can...
but they're an evil corporation, and they do all this evil stuff according to that.
But Pern, they conveniently started that 1 week after they launched their new item for Solomon's General Store, after everyone purchased it. So they are evil, clearly.
Yes.
But yes, that's a very, very good of them to do that. I applaud them. Jagex does wonderful charity events. I mean, on the flip side, PlanetSide's over here doing a huge event, and all the money is going to them. They're not doing anything for charity. Their big event for the year is just about making money for themselves. So that's Jagex actually does money for raises money for other companies, not just for themselves. And those other companies are charitable organizations. Anyway.
Onto the patch notes. Now, if you click on the link, it actually takes you to the German page. So I'm just going to read the three that they've actually highlighted.
Maybe that's why I ended up in German.
Yeah, I've just clicked it 3 times and going, hang on, I must have clicked something wrong. And then, no, that's it. So that might have been what you clicked before too. They've added an option in social settings under the friends list to prevent other players from trailing you after adding you to their friends list. They've added a liberation of Mazcab to the Max Guild portal options and increased the player's Grand Exchange sales history from the last 20 to the last 40 finished transactions. So it used to be 10, they doubled it to 20, and now we've gone up to 40. So that's not too bad. If you are one of those who does a lot of trading on the Grand Exchange, it just helps you keep up to date with what you've done and what your last 40 transactions were.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's always good to be able to see what you can watch the history of the hacker selling off all your stuff.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, you see my mind. I've just been. I've read too many threads, Pyrnassius.
I know. And also, Lootescape, again, for this month, you are going to be guaranteed between 10 and 100 player-owned farm beans, the name reroller or trait reroller. You will get a random animal for the farm. Thank you for my rabbit for the last one that I got.
You see this night? You see this night spider right here? You see this? You see this? Night spider unchecked? Delete.
Yeah. I just let my rabbit. I checked it and then let it go. You get something guaranteed from the basic drop table, and your viewer count goes up on your Twitch orb. You'll also get a chance at a random skilling out piece if you don't have it, and either Nature's Balance or a Lootescape if you don't own that as well.
Yeah. Lootescape? Loot Crate? Why, Jagex? You make it hard for us with fine motor tongue skills. My tongue used to be as nimble as a rabbit. Now it is crippled like a turtle's neck. It is so sad. Lootescape used to be amazing. Now it is just rabbit droppings in a crate, Pern. What happened?
Yeah.
Should I write a thread on the rants forum?
Oh, I mean, it's free stuff. Who cares?
I know, I'm joking.
I mean, I've actually stopped going to my farm so much. I've just let the animals grow there and sit there because I'm just getting.
I don't want the XP.
It's the XP is just too fast. I still hold that the player-owned farms should have been the content between 99 and 120 farming.
I agree.
So we'd have a true 120 farm. Same as safe cracking should have been the content between 99 and 120.
If the XP for safe cracking and farming were going to be that high, they should have just put content between those levels. Definitely.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm almost at 150 mil farming, and that was simply because I was going and collecting. I had to hit that 1 million beans for one of the farming achievements. And I collect the dragon manure because it's great for the ultra compost.
Yeah.
And just the XP drops even from that. If I could just turn off getting XP from the compost drops, the dragon manure, I'd be happy. Because that's right. That can be between 5,000 and 10,000 a trip too.
Yeah, and that dragon manure is good stuff.
Yeah,
I should just do the farm for that specifically.
Yeah, well, that's basically I've just left my everything down there now. I've also got to go for all the. I've 3 more Ravensworn creatures to get, and then I'll have unlocked all the Ravensworn titles as well down there. But other than that, it's basically I've left the farm line now just because there's too much XP coming from it, which sounds stupid, but I don't want to max out the game.
I know, but when you get to this point, it's a real problem. At the very least, Dragons and Zagamites should have been above 99. I agree with that, Gathixian. Gathixian just sent us a very long returning player document for us to read.
Okay.
It's good, like 5 pages long. If we want, we can tack it onto today's show to significantly increase it.
Let's do it.
Let's see here. I could tack
Do
it
you
in.
have a hard finish, or?
I don't have a hard finish. Let's see, but anyway, I'll send it to you if you'd like. I can share it with you. 1 second. Let me.
Yeah, so basically, they've also started on Wednesday. They're featuring Wazzy's weekly stream. He'll be taking on Virago. So Wazzy's a RS3 streamer, one of the few ones out there. So give a bit of support for him on their channel.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so generally we wouldn't promote something like that, but because we do want more RS3 streamers out there. So get out, give support, and let's get our numbers up as well.
Anything to boost RuneScape 3 on the leaderboards. We've been really suffering. Yep. Leaderboards. I don't know what you want to call it. Anyway,
I know what you mean.
You want to jump into the TLDW for
yes.
number 431? Cool, let's do it then. So I sent you a link.
I'll just say
we will.
I've just opened that up at the end there. So just tell me when you.
Yeah, we'll put that.
We'll put it.
We will put that. Let me think. Probably before the rants, obviously. Probably right before the rants. I'm assuming after the TLDW. No. I'm thinking.
Yep.
All right, so we'll
sounds good.
This
is TLDW 431 on general Q&A, not the TLDW 431 comp capes.
Correct.
We've had like 431 comp cape reworks.
Right.
So far,
this is confusingly enough. This is general Q&A 431 comp cape ninja updates. So comp cape is in there, but it's not the flagship portion of it. But number 431, yes. God help us. As our president says, so help me God. All right, let's try to do this. We're gonna get through this. I'm gonna live. I can handle this. Cape completion. My mind is being poisoned by just the world. Completion is cape rework. General information. Amnesty. People wanted a grace period, but everyone agreed. Everyone, apparently. Wow. That's impressive. Pyrnassius,
yeah.
We are the Borg.
They got everyone.
Agreed a 6-month time period is too long. It's likely to be a month or a few weeks. That's not bad. That's not horrible.
I think 4 weeks isn't bad.
4 weeks is not horrible. Yeah, I'll live with that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they managed to get everyone to agree with 6 months being too long. That blows my mind. Because I think I can pretty much find at least a few people that wanted like a year of amnesty. Anyway, broadcasts. Broadcasts haven't been decided upon yet. That's fair. I think we can wait on that. Iron Men currently can achieve comp, but certain achievements have been modified to be different. We would take the same approach post-rework. We won't design the rework with Iron Men in mind. Stats, heroic comp. They always say that, and then they totally kowtow afterwards.
I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it's a form of the game you want to play. It's like making a pure. An Iron Man is just is basically the same as a pure. And if there are things you cannot do to get a comp cape, and especially now that the comp capes are going to be more of a cosmetic thing, and everything you unlock is going to be a passive that's now attached to your character. I mean, I'm sorry, that's your choice to do that. It's the same as a choice of someone who wants to make a pure. They're not ever going to get that comp cape because they've got a pure. So, I don't think Iron Man should have any special treatment. And this is coming from a guy who does play an Iron Man account. I haven't played it for a while, but, it got watered down a lot. So I sort of, it ruined the experience for me a bit, how much they did water it down. But, I mean, I don't want special treatment for that type of account.
I don't either. And I mean, I've tried to play one, and I have my own problems with trying to play alt accounts. Like, I just have a heavy fixation on when I start a game. I kind of like even when there's like a class restriction on like per account, I still get fixated on a single account. It's just a personal problem I have. So, yeah, like I don't like the idea of them making concessions for accounts.
Yep.
Even though I specifically have that issue. Anyway, stats. Heroic combat cape won't have better stats than the regular combat cape if the regular combat cape has passive benefits. However, we aren't sure if we will move the passive benefits to the heroic cape or not. So that's still up in the air. The passive effect provides a stat boost regardless of the cape you are wearing. The result stat total should be the same or slightly better than what you would get from the current comp cape. So where do you get the passive effect from? I'm just assuming from,
so the passive
completing.
effect, yeah, from completely different things. So if you do the Ava's quest, rather than it being now attached to your comp cape or to Ava's Alerter, obviously, or if you have the ranging cape, it'll be on your person. So if I want to just wear my Master Quest cape, I'm still going to have that ability and things like that.
Gotcha.
And, you know, this is... I mean, I know that these capes are... or achieving these capes is going to have sort of that little bit of a stat extra. But, again... I want the cape itself to be purely cosmetic, so I want capes earned in game to obviously have the best stats, things like your kiln capes and all that. So they're the one you'll wear. But if you have unlocked your heroic cape, which I think was the first tier they were talking, it adds that extra 11 attack bonus and such like that. That's where we, you know, and I hope they do stick to that type of thing, because I thought that was a very, very good, very, very good model.
I agree, and I don't want to see that go away either.
No,
and I'm glad to see it hasn't changed in this design.
Well, that's the thing, we don't know, because they were umming and ahhing different things all of a sudden, which was sort of a little disconcerting.
I agree. We don't know how to categorize the music achievement, maybe percent per certain tiers? Suggestion. The more tiers you've completed towards completionism, the longer your comp cape gets. I think that's...
Oh, so we're going to have like a train running behind us like a bride, are we?
Yeah, I think that was a joke. So they then move into the different types of capes, it looks like. Let's see here. Gatsby's joining. Hey guys, how does the Magebit yellow party hat dream look at this point? We're still pretty far off from that dream, I would say. Haven't made much progress.
Hey, I got the best party hat in game. I got the chromatic one. It has all the different colors on it. It didn't cost me a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. You know what? It cost you a lot of time.
A time, yep. Yeah, okay.
Graphics and appearance here. There will be a poll for the appearance of the cape. Overall, the 3 proposed concept arts of the capes were too busy visually, and the players want it to be simpler. When the poll goes live, there will be at least one non-busy cape for players to vote on. Master Quest cape. The existing requirements will be split between tiers 2 and 3. Master Quest cape appearance will be the tier 2 quest cape, and the tier 3 being a new appearance. How do you feel about that, Pern?
Yeah, I'm happy enough with that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I love my quest cape. It is... No, again, I've earned it. I've done everything I need. If they can make it a bit easier for other people, yeah, because there is a lot of combat on the quest cape, which was really not supposed to be there. So for those, you know, true questers who can get the tier 2 without insane combat things, like, you know, getting Nex's book was one of the hard ones. You know, it is hard to do Nex solo, and, you know, trying to get into groups and things like that to be able to do it. I think if they're the type of things they move to the tier 3, well and good for those people. You know, I'm not one of those elitists like, well, I had to do it all, so should you type thing. I think opening up content and allowing people to chase the goals that they want without forcing them to do things that technically shouldn't be there, because a quest cape shouldn't have high-end boss requirements unless they do like they did with the with the Elite Dungeons, where they have story mode. You know, I don't think you should be forcing people to do that.
More story mode, please. A number of capes. 10 new capes. 1 new quest cape, 2 already exist. 3 combat, 3 skilling, 3 comp capes. This is the year of the capes.
This excites me. I mean, this is what I like, because, again, I'm very goal-oriented. And having, people say, oh, there's capes to go for and such. No, because I can become a master of skilling. I can have that top tier skilling and not have to worry about the other ones if I don't want to. But, for those people who, like me, who sort of do the all-rounder type thing, it gives me that full option, as I can do any of them that I like in the order I want to, and just concentrate on what I want to do.
Yeah. As it's got the Xenian Dogs thing, as it says, I will never get comp cape. I'm not going to sit around to do 6 months of AFKing. Just not going to happen unless they make a significant change to Castle Wars.
Yeah, that's only on trim comp. Remember that. That's not normal comp. That is only on trimmed comp. That is going to be part of the insane trim comp that they were talking about. But, we will wait and see how they go about that. But that is sort of still going to happen, but only on the highest tier of comp. So there will be 3 levels of comp.
Highest tier of comp for the highest tier of person.
Yep.
Heroic versions will be plus 6 more capes. All right. Slight changes to the combat and comp capes. Skilling combat quests are meaningful ways to play RuneScape, therefore they will have capes. Areas, activities, and minigames won't have capes for a few reasons. We can only have so many resources, and making 6 more capes would take too much time. When you make 10, she can't make 6 more. I'm just kidding. They sort of align with the 3 primary tracks listed above. Areas, activities, and minigames are categories that exist for organizational purposes. Let's see. So we have the achievement diaries have existed historically. That's why their categories exist. Tier 1 minigames could require players to complete all minigames at least once. Not the same scale as quests. Yeah, that's for sure. And then Legacy Capes. Comp and Trims will be renamed with Legacy in their name. They will have the exact same requirements and the exact same appearance as they have now. Probably won't retain their stats, but will work with the same passive effect provided by the rework. Haven't decided on the broadcasts, but they will probably remain. Freezing the requirements, but it will be a debated topic that hasn't been decided yet and needs to be a middle ground. May freeze the Reaper requirement, but new skills, quests, etc. would be required. Freezing a requirement such as quests or Reaper requires us to duplicate the requirements and make a new version. For those who want it completely frozen, tell us why. So that is the capes section.
And again, I do like they're going to leave those capes in for Legacy. So for someone who is spent the better part of the last 9 or 12 months sort of trying to get up and trying to chase that trimmed cape, and all of a sudden they change it and bring it out, and it's all that work they've done for that cape is suddenly wasted. Well, you're still going to be able to get it. It'll be a cosmetic cape. It'll be an override or something like that, but it's still going to be there for you to earn. And again, I think that was a very good compromise that they did there.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds well broken down, in my opinion. I'm not against... This actually sounds a lot clearer than I thought it was going to be, a lot more cohesive.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I've gone through this. Here's the thing. Before I read the document, I let Reddit memes basically explain to me what was in here. That was a bad idea. All right.
You never listen to Reddit.
Would you like to grab the comment discussions and proposals section?
I can grab that one. Discussions. The combat aspects have controlled around 90% of the discussions. Players, please don't group group content and difficult content together. Difficult is Telos, group content is Virago. Group content isn't an issue, it's the combination of being difficult and group that's an issue. There's two audiences of players. Those where it's all about doing the grindy contents, 99s, 120s, 200 mils. Those who do difficult endgame content where only a small group of people can do. We want to separate those two things. Combat capes, 3 tiers of combat cape. T1 will be the baseline completionism. T2 will be to do everything. And T3 is to do the super hard stuff, which is what they called insane on the last one. There's a disconnect with those wanting Solak/Telos on those capes, and those who think the rework is all about getting them off. See, now, again, Telos should be on those capes. Solak being a group boss should be on the higher end one, is the way I sort of would look at it. So your Viragos, your Solaks, your raids should be sort of classed in that group one, which maybe is the T2. But I certainly think Telos is a baseline. It is soloable, so it should be part of the T1. Is my personal opinion there. Proposed solution will be the heroic cape. Sorry, you were going to say something?
No, that's fine. No, I was just basically going to agree with you.
Yeah. There are 3 regular tiers of the combat cape, would be the easier version. This would be a nerf to the combat cape as they would be easier to get. Good for the audience who doesn't want to do difficult content. Bad for the audience who do challenging combat content and think it should be represented and rewarded. Heroic capes, this is not a final design, just a proposition. 3 new combat capes, trimmed version of the regular capes would be introduced. 3 tiers of a comp cape would also display the trimmed effect, 6 new capes in total. Hard group content would be removed from the regular combat cape and moved to the trimmed version. Virago, Solak, AOD, and maybe Telos. Trimmed would require everything and may have challenging requirements such as the 2K/4K Enraged Telos to be looked into. For example, a version of the insane final boss, but with the hard bosses mentioned earlier removed from it. This would be on Tier 3 combat, and full IFB would be on the heroic Tier 3 combat. Maybe the heroic version should have a difficult challenge on it, like a 2K, 3K, 4K Telos, rather than a grindy IFB final challenge. If we remove group bossing on the combat capes, it would make no sense to keep it on the quest capes. I don't understand that point there, but anyway.
If we remove group bossing on the combat capes, it would make no sense to keep it on the quest cape. I mean,
maybe for the lore books, maybe that's what they're talking about there. So if they take it off there, yeah.
Well, if you don't have group bossing on combat capes, why would you keep it on quest capes?
Yeah, so I think it just means for the lore books. But yeah, if you don't have to do the combat, then why should questers have to do it?
If combat capes don't have to do group bossing, why would quest capers have to do group bossing? For God's sakes?
Yeah.
It's like
okay,
torture at that point.
Yeah, it is. And we do love our quests here, so yeah, more quests, please. Further combat discussions. Death Touch darts were considered, but I feel it's a worse compromise. It ruins acknowledging combat accomplishments as you don't know who achieved them legitimately. Motherload more enhancers would be a similar scenario, but we acknowledge that the Pantheon aura is a related topic. Boss pets at 0KC is more of a grind and not a personal challenge. It's more about putting in the effort.
That's just making new accounts until you get it.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's just using, just with buying Death Touch darts over and over until you actually get it. It's just a luck thing then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because you don't get an actual kill count for Death Touch darts, you only get the loot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So people just keep buying Death Touch darts. So, look, I got to put it at 0.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Didn't even think about
that. Yeah.
So that's just luck and money. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
I will move along then to Comp Cape rework questions. It looks like is the next section here.
Yep.
And I just jump myself back to the beginning because that's just, what you do. Okay. Why are we putting so much effort into catering to players who can't complete the content? Comp is content to players, and we create content for players. There are more of these players than there are of you. They aren't only the ones who get listened to, but content needs to work for different players. The point of having an exclusive and non-exclusive version, Heroic Capes, is so that we are able to cater to the exclusive, the elite, while comp is for a larger amount of players. Not everyone can or will get comp. That's not the issue. The issue is we don't want to restrict comp to a tiny group of people who don't have the hardest requirement. Could involve 17 people doing the hardest requirement, 500 doing another hard requirement, and there being no overlap. And I get that. You have you have your SEAL Team 6, and then you have your Navy SEALs, and then you have your Marines, and then you have, your Army, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
And that's the whole thing. I mean, and it now makes those other capes, it makes them elite. It makes them, really sought after. And you see someone who's got the highest tier of comp cape, they have truly done everything in the game. And it means that by doing it this way, we are going to start getting the new requirements required for those comp capes done properly. Farming, not just go and get as many beans as you can to unlock the 4 music tracks and such. You will have to do the content, grow your animals, unlock all the pens and that type of thing, which is the way it should have been. But yeah, there was too much jump up and down. Oh, it's going to be too long to get my comp cape back. We shouldn't have to do that type of thing. And this will combat that and make sure that what should be on completionist will definitely be on completionist.
Where was I? I got distracted.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was chatting to chat.
Well, comp, yeah. So not everyone can or will get comp. That's not the issue. Sorry. Dictionary definitions of completionism.
Thank you. We understand the definition means do everything, but comp has never meant that in the past at any other point. It's, RuneScape doesn't necessarily have to mean real things. This is, we make our own.
Yeah. And that's why the name completionist was the worst name they could ever have gotten for this cape in the first place.
I know. When comp was decided, those types of requirements weren't included for a reason. A good design of the cape defines what's on it, not the dictionary definition. May formally call it the comp cape and not the completionist cape. Doing things the hard way mentality. Since I did this the difficult way, everyone else has to do it the same way. And that's the problem, right? That's the whole mentality about, the whole problem with Castle Wars,
which
right?
I don't understand people's. Well, I had to do it.
I understand.
Why don't you do it? Yeah, well, see, I mean, I did live at farms back when it was the long way, and then they brought in, they halved the points, and then they did those weekends where you get double points and things. I don't care. You can go and get it now and do it and have the same unlock achievement as I do.
Yeah.
I did it. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I did it when it was longer. I don't care that you got a shorter wait.
Sure. That's the thing is power creep. It changes the game. You don't have to, listen, when I got 99 cooking, holy crap, I don't wish that upon anyone the way I got 99 cooking.
That's right. You didn't have portable cooking urns and cook all. You had to click on each fish and click on the fire. Click on the fish, click on the fire. Click on the fish, click on the fire. Exactly.
That wasn't even the half of it. They were inserts, man. I was in Draenor Village, inserting lobbies from freaking lobster certs. Oh my god! Because I had to buy them.
That's right. Because you did that back in classic 99 cooking, didn't you?
Yeah, because I got my dragon medium helmet dropped from the King Black Dragon on day 1. I became an instant millionaire. Now think millionaire back in RuneScape Classic is billionaire, like multi-billionaire these days. if not trillionaire. Anyway, moving along. RuneScape doesn't work that way. Example, 99 rune crafting before after RuneSpan. Why are you making comp instead of something else? The team working on CompCape rework aren't able to work on the bank rework. They aren't the engine team. If it wasn't this, they'd be making a small scale skilling update or something. Cool. Do it. You just sold.
I did laugh about this, saying, well, why aren't they working? Why aren't they bank rework, since it's, you've got this mobile team, and exactly that. They're not the engine team.
That's what I've said.
They're specializing in something else. People, and that's what I think a lot of the community doesn't understand. It's just because they can do one thing doesn't mean they can do the entire game. Yeah. They are specialized in their area, and that's what they do.
People, like, when you hire a programmer, they're not they're not wizards. They aren't able to do every single thing. It's not like, hey, oh, you're a programmer, cool, you do this, oh, now do this. It's like, I specialize in database, or maybe I'm an engine, or maybe maybe you're doing area work, like maybe you're not just everything, unless you're Andrew Gower. There are certain people who are just geniuses, but they're few and far between. And yeah, you can't expect a team to just be able to just shift and say, oh yeah, we're going to do the bank rework. If they don't have the skill on the team to do the bank rework.
Well, actually, they probably could do the bank rework. Thousands of people out there will lose all their wealth, but hey, they could try and do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, Shawnee could do the bank rework.
You want the best of the best working on something like the bank rework.
Yeah, didn't Shawnee take a stab at bank placeholders once?
Yeah, I think so. And he's just like, what?
and they had to revert it because the way he did it was like, no, that basically just duplicates items that way. Anyway, the amount of dev work needed is relatively small, so doing this is a good use of our time. Initial devlog summary. The comp cape ought to be the premier achievement in the game for completionists, with trim cape going even further above and beyond. Every new update should bring new joys and make completionists happier and happier. Instead, we see wailing and gnashing of teeth. Every new comp requirement is met with frustration by those players who see recomping as a frustrating chore. We've responded to that by including fewer comp requirements, which the actual completionists are also frustrated by. This then becomes a tightrope for our developers, and we've seen comp requirements, or lack of them, completely sink the player's opinion in an otherwise great update.
Very true there. Mm-hmm. I mean, because you've got, you'll have your combat people who sit there and scream and rant and say, this is stupid. Why do I have to do this? Worst thing ever. Take Menaphos, take the Ark type thing. And I mean, I was very critical of Menaphos as well, but for different reasons than comping it.
Yeah.
But, most of them were complaining because they had to spend 3 months there unlocking this stuff. And this is what we don't want to see. So this is why I had an argument, well, not an argument, a big discussion, a debate about this with someone else on why this is needed. And basically I said, look at it as a highway. The highway constantly needs to be upgraded and fixed, because otherwise you're going to end up with potholes. It's going to destroy people. People's cars are going to break down, that type of thing. And that's exactly what, you need to keep upgrading and bringing it up to date. And that's exactly what the Comcate needs to be. It's 10 years old. We need to look at updating it and bringing it up to today's standards and putting on it what people want to have on it. And if you have to reinvent the wheel slightly to do it, then do that. I mean, those type of achievements need to be on something like a comp cape, and but it shouldn't be at the deficit of the PVMers who want to have their best stat cape And that's best in slot stats don't really bother most completionists. They bother the PVM community. So have their best in slot capes as their tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 that they can build up through and doing their stuff. But also, if you can be that all-rounder and earn that comp cape, you can go for it and do that. And that's what I really love about this idea.
Examples, of course, as you just gave us, basically, of time-gated content. I really don't even need to go into it.
I should actually read down a little bit.
No,
start off on
yours was way better. Moving on, it says no one asked for this. I'm just going to go on to that part. It says if anyone complained there are too many comp requirements or there aren't enough comp requirements, it was asked for, which is most players. Yeah, currently.
Everyone's been asking for a rework on this type of thing. Where what I think what a lot of people didn't realize is just how much comp does affect a lot of different aspects of the game. Everyone's saying, just take Reaper off and do this and do that. It's not as simple as that. They had to look at things, well, how does it affect questers? How does it affect skillers? How does it affect, the whole different areas? And this is why we've got the capes split up and being done the way it is. And I think putting them into their sections and then building that up. So as long as I get all 4 tiers of tier 1 in all the different areas, then I get tier 1 comp. If I can go through and do all tier 2 areas, in the 4 areas, I can get the T2 comp. But if I just want to concentrate on getting T1 combat, T2 combat, T3 combat, I can just do that. And that's why this is necessary and why I think how they've done it is really the best way.
Currently, it affects every dev.
So far, yep.
So at the moment, let's see, it says, we are trying to come up with the best compromise that we can. Are these really accomplishments if anyone can do it? Not everyone can do it. Unless by anyone you mean your friends who are all in the elite group of players. Nice. Little burn there. No, that's a very good point. The people who are taking those types of jabs tend to forget where they're at in the game.
Yep.
Like, you got to check yourself sometimes. Have you been playing the game for 5-6 years? You
fully maxed combat stats and everything,
Because sometimes I forget that I've been playing this game for almost freaking 2 decades almost. And you forget that occasionally. More brand new achievements for new content are new achievements for old content. The current task is placing all current requirements in the correct place. Why can't you define each tier based on the type of players? It sort of is. The goal of this sort is to give people achievable goals. Achievable for them. So if we say tier 2 combat requires Reaper, then if you are a tier 1 and you can't do Solak, you're done. If you are, or you can continue, but we won't acknowledge your progress and no one, and no point to do anything else. So like you could do other tasks basically, but it wouldn't actually count until you finished the Solak achievement is what they're saying, I guess. We don't want the game to be structured in this way. There's a difference between waiting and being able to do something. So waiting as in ports and doing something like Solak. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Anyway, moving along from the very tiring, I almost called it bank rework. That's where I'm at in this show.
Do you want me to take general?
Yeah, why don't you take general for a bit and we'll talk. We'll talk about it is the bank rework. Yes, why don't talk about the bank rework?
Okay, so the bank rework. When we speak about ideas and they gain traction, they then become expectations. Even projects that are in the works we haven't said anything about until we are confident that they will be released. There have been instances in the past where we've worked on a project, got excited about it, and started talking about it, like the bank rework and player-owned churches. There are certain things we want to show, design documents, etc., to get the players' feedback on, so we need to find that sweet spot. Clan Quality of Life version 2 has been pushed back a week to May 7th. Due to the shortened work week, we're not confident enough the update will get the testing it needs prior to release. And again, great. You're not sure if it's going to be right. Delay it a week if you have to make sure when it comes out it's working properly. Again, people sort of say, "Oh, well, you promised it for this and you haven't delivered and such." Do you want? Do you want it done properly? Yeah. Do you want it done properly, or do you want a broken product when it comes out?
Well, I mean, this is RuneScape. We want broken products.
Yeah,
that's what we're used to. Anything other, we'd be.
Yeah, we're shocked when something.
It would feel weird.
That's been nice. And that's the same. That's why they're pushing these type of things back. Development.
Can I share something with you?
You can.
You know how I've been a little with this medication, like I've been, a little off saying things like potions when drunk and stuff like that. Well,
yeah.
When the game update hit on April Fools and there were JMods and pens and whatnot, for a split moment, I thought, because it was Monday and it was a game update, I forgot it was April Fool's for just a second, and I was like, yeah, it's Monday, it's a game update, yep, what did Jagex F up this time? There's, they've managed to make NPCs end up in pens. Like, I legitimately figured that they broke the game that badly. For a split second, and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, it's April Fool's." But
I was just really sad that I couldn't breed my mods in the breeding pen.
Yeah, I was just sad that you couldn't keep them in the pen after.
I know. I collected them all, and I actually put them into that storm cellar that we've got to keep them. I stuck one of each all down there, just hoping that they might have forgotten and just left them there.
Yeah, that would have been great.
No.
Yeah, yes. See, I seriously replied to a single post on Facebook going, "Oh, must be a Monday," seeing because they posted a picture of their JMods in the pen, because I figured, because they had accidentally, because how when you update the NXT client and sometimes it switches out the graphics with other graphics by accident. I figured that kind of graphical glitch had happened or something.
Yeah,
but no,
I remember the best one where the guards were walking around Edgefield with those super long stretched bodies and weird looking sword things that made them look like they were marching, protesting.
Yeah. Oh, I have a good one actually in general chat, and I'll put it in. It's also pretty high up on Reddit. So if you're a frequenter of Reddit, you've probably already seen this, but this one, I think that one's hilarious. It's someone's yaks that have taken on the human skeleton form for some reason, and then every time they move, they walk around in human skeleton. It's hilarious. Anyway,
that's cool.
I love that.
Okay, so development. Doing open development with the mining and smithing rework and the comp rework is nice, but not all development can be like this. And for obvious reasons. Quests are a good example of content that has to remain secret, but a skilling update, there is less of a reason. However, stealth updates have always gone down well in general, and I love those surprise updates that we hear nothing about. All of a sudden on the Monday, bang, there's something new. Wow,
Yeah.
That quest that they gave us, that was just like, no one knew this was coming. This is fantastic. That type of thing I really do enjoy. Elite Dungeons, quality of life. We found last-minute issues, which are being fixed right now. We are trying our hardest to get it out in-game. The Ninja team will help if they are needed. We could have been better with our announcement of it. And again, last-minute issues, if something like that happens, as long as they just say, hey, we understand this is happening, we're going to get it fixed as soon as possible. I think we can't expect much more than that from them.
Bugs happen.
Marjarat Aura. Why isn't that coming into the game? Because we said we weren't going to. It was overpowered and unbalancing the game. We might reopen it during an Aura rework. That might be a conversation we have. It could even come back in a different form.
Now,
I just love how people are still going on about that Margarita. And you know why they're going on about the Margarita?
Why?
Because it was broken and OP.
Yeah. It was a 5% boost, right?
Yeah, and it had a bunch of others that did as well.
It also could boost to 50% once a month.
Yes, yeah,
which
that's
was
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the Majorat aura. This aura cannot be extended with Viswax. Increase damage you deal with your divine location. Okay, so increase the damage you deal with your divine location cap. That's okay. So it also increases your divine location cap by 5% as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is.
Well,
yeah.
I thought it was a couple of different. Yeah. But that 50% boost once a month was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that is pretty OP.
And people were asking, "Oh, once a month's not enough." Remember the calls? They wanted it once a week.
Right? Yeah. Originally, yeah, they wanted to buff.
Yeah. People. Anyway, Ninja Team. The Ninja Team will be working more closely with the community management team, with Mod Porky being the main person. There is more benefit out of it, so we can focus better on high-impact fixes and making communication a smoother process. Determining priority process. Collect a fix, put them on a spreadsheet, go over them with the team and councils, and decide if it should be done. Decide how many people it impacts, how long it takes, and if the department needed is available. Other factors, which player group is it for, and have they had some fixes lately? So, other factors, which player group is for. If it's for combat, we'll do it straight away. If it's a skilling one, well, you can just wait till we get around to it.
Question. So the fact that people who paid for the Majorat aura in the club when it was part of it that still have it. Does that bother you at all? Do you consider that pay to win, or because it was part of the pack?
It's part of the pack. I mean, every year we get something. You know, for the first few years there was always a different aura. That was the most overpowered order, and that's the one where they said it is only going to be there for the 1 year. It will be deleted once the thing is over.
It wasn't deleted though.
No, as in it would become
It's permanent.
But all the effects on it are gone. Other than I think it still gives the 5%.
Still gives the 5%.
But all the other boosts, the overpowered,
it doesn't do the 50%. Correct.
Yes,
it still does the 5%, and I don't think I don't even know if it does the divine location boost anymore. Honestly, I think it only does the 5%.
Yeah,
But if you didn't buy it, like everyone wants that's the thing. The only thing people want is the 5%, because the flat 5% damage boost is like crack to PVMers apparently.
Yeah.
And
well, then they should have bought the pack when it was out, shouldn't they?
But if you weren't playing RuneScape back then, you didn't have that option, and you can't.
But there's other auras that you can get that do that.
No other aura gives you a flat 5% damage, I don't think, with no negative effect. Like the Berserker aura gives you, I don't even think it gives you damage. Maybe it gives you damage boost, but it has a negative effect as well.
Yeah, and it also gives you a 15% boost.
Yeah, with a negative defense of like 10% or something.
10%, I think. Yeah, something like that.
But anyway, that in my opinion, I don't care. I'm Mr. Chaotic Neutral over here. I paid for the package. Just to say, I actually bought it, just so transparency. But I don't in my opinion, like that type of stuff. I'm also on the side of I got Lucian's staff because I was there, So
and I missed out because I didn't announce it properly.
Yeah. So if I'm
pissed, but hey, I missed it. You know, that's
I'm all for that. Like I think the world's a cruel, harsh place, and that's just the way it is. Whatever. So it is what it is. You missed it. You missed it. That's my look. That's my outlook on it. I'm becoming a cruel, jaded, cynical.
I mean,
bitch.
I'm sorry. We did a clearance on some phones where they were like 50% off, and our team made a stuff up and put a couple of the new Samsung phones out at that price, and a few people got a really good deal on a brand new Samsung S8 at the time, which was selling for like $1,200 and got them for $600.
Nice.
You know,
Not
a
for
bunch
them.
of people got that. You know,
Yeah.
and then they, oh shit, we made a mistake. They got the apology out and such, and no more got done. Well, bad luck. It doesn't mean that no, but I saw it and I should get it because they got it. No, they got on real quick and jumped on it and got it done, and you didn't. So the apology's out. We made a stuff up. We've corrected it, and bad luck.
Yeah, you don't get to come in after the fact and claim them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we received Ninja suggestions from all form of social media. Polling Ninja Fix's priority can slow the process down, as by the time the poll results come in, they could have been added already. Player streams on Lootescape. Once per week, a streamer will be able to give out a Lootescape loot crate to their viewers on their own channel. The first one will be Wazzy's community event, which will be Virago, and that happened last Wednesday. So they're going to be doing that once a week with different streamers. So that is good, So hopefully people like Ryan and such who, make good quality streams will be able to do that and, just generate a bit more interest to RS3. So I like that idea.
Me too. Anything that brings more spotlight. I'm going to follow Wazzy here. Guarantee you it's all PVM. He also plays League of Legends, so it's definitely
it's a Virago event, so it's going to be all PVM.
Oh, definitely. I'm just saying.
What most people enjoy watching, but
I bet. And I'm looking. So it's his RuneScape achievements. He has final boss. Looks like it might be insane. Yeah, insane final boss as of the 27th of February. 17. Wow, long time standing insane final boss. That's pretty cool. It looks like Wazzy would be a pretty cool streamer to check out. Anyway, I guess I'm...
Yep. No, that's okay. And other content, spiky version of Trim Masterwork is on Mod Shogun's to-do list alongside Stone Spirits. Boss cutscene zoom issues will be looked into. Iron Men accounts will not receive the 1.5 times XP bonus during the Song of Seren weekends. Thank you. The Aura resale is still planned for May, and data stream will happen in the coming weeks, not the next stream.
All right. And that is
your... Yep.
Go for it.
I was going to say, that is your TLDR.
Yeah. All right. And now...
Or TLDW, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I let you do it, and you ruined it. Anyway.
So never trust the Aussie.
We have here a little injection from Gothixian Doc. We requested some returning stories from old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3 and the differences between them and whatnot and the parallels between the games. So Gothixian Doc has given us their comparisons between the games here, I believe. It says here, now this is fairly long, so I'll probably be switching off between you and I here when my voice just gives out. I'll just probably be like, "Hey, Pern." All right, let's see. It says, if you just want to read the part about my experience as a returning player, an old account, I'll give you a full read here if I can. Let's see. So I've been listening to the podcast since the new year, usually 15 to 20 minutes at a time in the car during my commute to work and or school. I don't usually have much interest in communicating with podcast personalities, but something you said in a recent episode caught my attention, and I thought I'd give you my perspective on a question you were asking. I'm also adding an addendum in response to a few things that have been said in podcasts following that. I hope that's okay. Of course. The initial reason for writing this, which took a while to get around due to some complicating factors, most notably of which is distinct lack of time, was you mentioned wanting the perspective of a player playing from level 1 who was either entirely new or hadn't played in a while. I started playing RuneScape 2 shortly after it had released, maybe a month or two after, and the account I currently play on as my quote-unquote main is 14 years old. I returned to the game in October after a 7-year hiatus from the game. In the interim, I have played a series of games. World of Warcraft was a big one for me for a while. Dota 2 was the most recent. Played it for 3 years before stopping in October, as well as other AAA and indie. Indie ones off titles, usually single player games. I game for a variety of reasons, but those are tertiary interests to the point I am writing about. My experience in returning was a very good one. I started off trying to relearn the game on my main. Oh, I have to increase the font here. That's my main issue. I just realized I read at like 200% font. Sorry. I game for a variety of reasons, but those are tertiary. Game is still popping the font size there. Tertiary interest to the point I am writing about. My experience in returning was a very good one. I started off trying to relearn the game on my main. My stats were not very good when I came back. My average level was about 50 to 60. Because I got an email from Jagex offering 30 days of membership if I came back. The email was sent to the email of an account which I had been long since banned. I apologize. I tried 4 times to make that email a sentence more logical, but I couldn't figure out a better way for botting. I was banned for botting during a time period when I was on deployment in Afghanistan and I wasn't playing RuneScape. I appealed the ban a few times in the past and had my appeal denied. After the 3rd ban appeal, I simply gave up and moved on. I didn't make any angry posts on Reddit or the forums. I just moved on. You know, like adults do. Yeah, I wonder how many people actually managed to do that. Because the average player, tends to just
not act like an adult.
Yeah, seems to just show up on Reddit and just yell about their account. Back in the day, there used to be that wonderful email address that you could assault, and then they took it down, and then I think Reddit became the new punching bag. I always have a laugh at those stories you guys share from people who are banned under similar circumstances because I've been there. I was upset, but at the end of the day, it's a video game. If it brings you that much stress, move on. Part of the reason I stopped playing Dota, actually. Yeah, Dota is an extremely stressful game. I tried to get into League of Legends and Dota-style games, and I couldn't because of the high intensity. Yeah, I love real-time strategy games, and I tried to transition from like Command and Conquer to like a Dota-style game mainly because I love Command and Conquer, and there's no like modern-day analog to it. And I could not handle the intensity of Dota. Anyway, so back to the point at hand. In October, I received an email inviting me back and offered me free membership. I attempted to log in and I was rerouted to the mailbox where it reminded me that I had been banned. I figured, what the hell, and submitted another appeal. I do genuinely wish that there was an explanation or comments box that at the very least on this form. Lo and behold, the next morning, 4 hours later, I have been unbanned and granted 30 days of free membership in accordance with the advertisement I received in my email. That's good to hear that they are actually, doing that. Good.
One thing I do think there is, the original appeals back in whenever they were done. They may have been done several years ago. I think their investigation process has really come of age, and they can look into things a lot deeper now and search out more, which will mean that a lot of those older accounts that they did reject the first time may now start being unlocked. And it's great to see that they actually sent out this, come back 30 days. He's appealed it and come back in. So this was last October. So it's good to see that they are still looking at those older accounts and things as well. And you can get that reversed. So if there are people out there, you made an appeal on an old account sort of 5, 6, 7 years ago.
What's interesting to me here is Jagex is proactively reaching out to people who have been banned and trying to unban them instead of the other way around.
Yep, that's right.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, well, I mean, and we've said the same things ourselves all the time. A life ban is pretty harsh for something, like botting and such. And I think, if you've had a couple of years, people grow up. Even if you legitimately botted, yes, I botted, I did that type thing.
We have it here. You heard it, recorded. It's down.
And you were 15, 16 years old, and 4 years later you were a lot more mature. You understand consequences more. I do think that as I've always said, my thoughts on basic botting, not gold farm botting. Basic botting is your first ban is 14 days, your next ban is 30 days, then you can either cop a lifetime or a couple of year ban. And go that way, but it is great to see. Sorry, I'll go back, and I am waffling on a bit, but great to see that they these older accounts they are still looking at and still actively checking these and letting people do it. So yeah.
On to my experience returning. I was mostly overwhelmed with how very, very different the game was. I remember starting a new account about 6 years ago, around the time EOC was released. And I played for about 10 minutes on that account before giving up as a result of the frustration of not having my legacy account. This time, however, I had my old account back, and even though I wasn't particularly high leveled, it was less frustrating to be able to get right back into this, some of the things I used to do. None of the things I did on the account when I returned were particularly efficient, and my gear was atrocious. I was wearing a granite body with dragon plate legs, dragon hide vambraces, a whip, which I spent my bank on at one point. I was crushed to find them worth 70k.
I know.
Yeah. Dragon boots, an Avi whip, and a helm of Neezit knot. That's a classic.
Now we know why you got banned.
Yeah, I mean
that was a botting outfit.
Yeah, that's listen. That was my look back in 2010.
I know, and I mean that, and obviously why, because it was a decent outfit, but that's what all the bots were actually wearing too.
What boots? I didn't hear the boots. I was wearing those D boots back in the day too, but I had to upgrade from rune boots, man. I was wearing rune boots for so long. My stats were mediocre at best. I used to be a mid-level account when I left, only to find that mid-level is actually anything sub-max, but level 90 these days. Regardless, I had lots of fun running around and re-experiencing RuneScape. I found a clan to join one day, fairly randomly, and they've been extremely helpful, bearing with my relatively stupid questions. I attempted God Wars 1 for the first time on the account. Prior to that, the only boss I had ever killed was the Dagonoth Kings and the King Black Dragon. It was incredibly difficult to figure out how to do things at first, but I persevered and kept trying things until I figured it out. I was tentative when approaching bossing because I had no idea the death mechanic had changed. When I inevitably died the first time, I was thoroughly relieved to see that I hadn't lost any items. Overall, my returning experience was good, and I since earned my first 99s on my account ever. It only took me 15 years, no big deal. At this rate, I'll be maxed by the time I'm 99 myself. I also recently started a couple of alts to AFK and Mine and Smith. I recently enjoyed the mining and smithing update. Whenever I'm doing something active on my main account, I'm usually also AFKing the other two accounts to try and make some money. I really want to 99 Herblore in summoning. I really want 99 Herblore in summoning. However, when I'm AFKing on my main, mining, Abbey Demon, smithing, fishing, etc., I jump on one of my two alts and re-explore Gillinor on it. In the past, I've tried to start new accounts on 2 occasions after my main was banned. I gave up on both occasions because I was just too frustrated after seeing an empty bank on both accounts. However, in this instance, I was able to freely enjoy the game for what it was rather than just be frustrated with the fact that I didn't have everything I'd worked for so long. I agree because when you know all your stuff is safe and secure on your main account, it doesn't matter that those other accounts don't have anything on it. That might be something I could work with in my own mind. As far as trying to start an Iron Man or something, I don't know. Because I struggle with that as far as having alt accounts. I can't really have an alt account because I feel like I should be working on my main account at all times. And it for some reason, I just can't have an alt account for that reason. Anyway, the game world is, in my opinion, inviting and exciting. The starter and free-to-play quests are engaging, and most of them are funny and when appropriate. Some are funny when not appropriate, which I can identify with. I've actually enjoyed starting a new account and re-experiencing the world through level 1 eyes. I still have yet to train combat on either one of my alts, but I have gotten into the 50s for smithing, mining, woodcutting, and fletching, and done a handful of quests. I am surprised there aren't more new gamers coming into RuneScape, but when I stop and think about how complicated the game is compared to many other games, I start to understand. For instance, in World of Warcraft, when you're starting your new quests, you have a HUD that pretty much standard and very easily workable. You also have a compass with a marker of where you need to go and even a trail to follow if you're off path for too long on the first set of quests. Something that old school RuneScape has retained that I think is an improvement over RuneScape 3 is the tutorial. Go ahead.
I will just say, and again, it is Togglescape. You can actually toggle that type of thing on in RuneScape 3. Where you can have the guide there. It'll do a little trail. If on your mini map, it'll put a blue square around the area you need to be, so you know exactly where you need to be going. That is actually an option to turn on RS3.
We have a pathing system, but it's kind of garbage, isn't it?
But that's the pathing system. But what he's talking about here for questing, to guide you through, you can actually turn on a quest guide system, which will run the tracking for you. So it's got the little spots that'll take you there.
No, does every quest have that?
I'm pretty sure the only one that didn't have, and I think they added it after 2 weeks, was
the You Are It.
The You Are It quest. Oh, I love my favorite quest of all. That was just awesome. I just love that one.
Yeah, that was a great quest.
But yeah, that is actually there, and it is a pity because I don't think a lot of people do know about it because it is by default off, and I think for new players something like that should be by default on to say, hey, here's a guide, switch on, switch off. And have it more easy. My biggest issue with RS3 on those things with the toggling is just how hard it is to find where anything is to toggle on and off.
Yeah. Tutorial Island. Thank you very much for the resub, Phantom. I really appreciate that. Keep up the great streams. Thank you very much. Tutorial Island is a big aspect of success for bringing new players into the game. When you spawn into RuneScape 3 and you've not completed any real tutorial in a confined world, it is extremely overwhelming to suddenly access all of Gielinor. And honestly, I think the new player experience in RuneScape 3 is not that great, and I believe Mod Stu has been working on improving it, and it has gotten a little bit better very, very recently, like with the recent game jam, and I don't know if it's been fully implemented yet. I literally think it's supposed to be implemented this month, if not next month. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone has more information on that. This used to be even easier to get when this used to be even easier to get into when I first started playing 14 years ago, because as a free-to-play player, you only had access to everything from Falador to Varric. Mortania had not been added yet, but later became the easternmost boundary. Although the world was huge and you could not get lost in it then, it was confined. Speak for yourself. I got lost in RuneScape Classic, okay?
No, he's saying you could get lost.
Oh, okay.
Even though it was confined,
you could.
yeah.
Okay, you could get lost.
Yeah.
All right, my apologies. I read that wrong. Again, my eyes are terrible. And again, I speak with you then, because I got lost in RuneScape Classic when that world was even tinier. I got lost.
And that's
I traveled to Karanja and confined myself to a banana plantation on day one and got myself trapped. Go ahead.
And that's one of the things. I mean, I love lodestones. I use them and such, but that's one of the biggest disappointments of lodestones is how small the worlds suddenly become. I mean, I remember the fun of running from Lumbridge up through to the farms to get up to Varrock and things like that, and you just don't have that same sense of the world anymore since they have the lodestones and things. And I think, while they were put in there as a quality of life update, I think they are detrimental to the game and the overall sort of MMO feeling.
They are. All right. My document is flipping away from me. Come back. Oh my goodness. My highlight.
Do you want me to continue?
If you can, because my highlighter just dropped.
Yeah. You don't feel like you didn't feel like you could really push out too far. WoW has a similar concept that helps new players not to feel overwhelmed. Each of the main zones are level locked. You can't go to the Burning Crusade area until you're level 60. You can't go to the Frozen Throne until you're level 70, etc. The amount of game world that you can explore is limited by your level. RS doesn't have these limitations, which is why I used to recommend friends to play on free-to-play until they got their bearings and knocked out a few quests.
Yeah, me too.
These days, it doesn't seem like there is much benefit to being a free-to-play player for a little while before becoming a member. If I could make a recommendation to Jagex, it would be to overhaul that. Free-to-play should be treated like a bridge to members, not a game trial. It doesn't seem like free-to-play is really respected in the same way it used to be. It's more of an advertisement for members than anything else. Which I understand, they want to make money, but I think they could draw more new players, especially younger players, which we are severely lacking and will eventually be the death of the community, if they return to that style. OSRS has retained that method, and I think that's why OSRS is more welcoming to entirely new players, whereas RS3 is mostly filled with veteran players and their alts. I don't say this as a harsh criticism per se, but I do think it's an area that Jagex can improve their game and expand their player base somewhat. Very good point, actually. I never really, because we're just so used to it now, you do sort of forget everything is open to you pretty much in this game.
Yeah.
There's nothing really locked away. Yeah,
the whole level lock concept was really interesting. I mean, when I was a noob back in the classic days, I literally would run across White Wolf Mountain past the wolves, trying not to get myself killed, just because
you had to do that quest to get underneath so you wouldn't get attacked by the wolves. That was one of the first quests I aimed for, because I always
my fishing.
I need to get this done.
Well, that's what I did. Is I ran. I had to get past the wolf, and the thing was, the little wolves weren't really the big deal, but there was a big wolf that was level like 63 or 68,
and he got shot, and you were done.
Well, the problem was back then my combat level was 69. So that big wolf was about the same combat level as I was. And I was basically a fisherman. Like, that's what I did in RuneScape Classic, was fish and cook. So my goal was to get to the new fishing guild. The fishing guild was new content back then. So I was trying just to get to the fishing guild. So, like, running past White Wolf Mountain was, like, exciting new content back then for me. Anyway, just wanted to enjoy
that. That's right. And remember running from Falador to the crafting guild, and you get attacked by the highwaymen and things like that, because again, my skills were sort of always higher than my combat, and getting attacked by those highwaymen and things like that, I mean, that made the game exciting, and it did limit initially the areas that you did work around and play in, but you really don't see that anymore. So I do think that is a very valid point there. I like that point, and maybe they do need to look at sort of limiting that again.
Possibly.
Now, onto my experience playing OSRS. I mostly got into OSRS because friends of mine from the service, I am an army medic, who played OSRS. I started off just by watching Snowflake Ironman on YouTube and later on Twitch. Shout out to Settled, Caveman, Turtletail, and Puka Guy. After really enjoying the content they created, I tried my hand at a Snowflake account myself and thus created my first OSRS character on the same account as my main. Let me first say I absolutely love the feature that they're connected accounts. I just wish I could log into both RS3 and OSRS under the same account at the same time. Unfortunately, I understand the server limitation on why that's not possible. Well, thank you for being one of the few who do understand that too, because that's another one that gets screamed at about.
Congratulations for having a diploma in common sense.
Yeah. For those unaware, a Snowflake Iron Man is an Iron Man, usually banking, that has arbitrary, self-imposed limitations. One chunk at a time man, Swampletics, Caveman, Tyrannuan only, etc. They lock themselves in a specific area of RS or limit themselves to only a specific type of content, i.e. Slayer only. And the content is incredibly enjoyable to watch, and all of them have absolutely incredible communities on their respective Twitch pages. Yep.
I've actually seen some of those in concept, and they sound actually kind of interesting. To like, in theory, like, I'm not against the concept of watching one of those. Like, I might actually be interested in watching something like that. It's a cool idea. I've thought about that, actually. And the fact that it's happening, and the fact that it was in my brain, and now that it's happening, makes me a little sad that I didn't do it.
Yeah, and that's it. Just do a canvas only. Get the canvas, and then you can only do that area.
I was gonna do like a wilderness only Iron Man or something stupid like that, and now people are all doing, like like niche Iron Mans, and I'm all over here like just talking about it, and I never do anything, Magebit. You talk about shit, and you never do it. Continue.
Okay. So for those unaware, one chunk at a time, Swampletics, Caveman, Tyrannuan, you lock yourself in. It's incredibly enjoyable to watch, and all of them have absolutely incredible communities on their respective Twitch pages and such. Of people who are engaging to talk, helpful, and nice. It was weird after my RS experience, which was filled with a small spot of nice people compared to a vast majority of toxicity. So that's funny, because I found the opposite. RS3, I've never really faced a lot of toxicity unless you go to, down in the old gold caves or the portables world. I found the toxicity on OSRS when I played it. Anyway, I created my own Snowflake based on Guthix. I was a huge Guthix fan. I bought every Guthix item in the game back when they were expensive, and I still have most of them. That account mostly failed because I had no idea what I was doing, but it was a fun experiment. I eventually de-ironed the account, and I'm just leveling it like normal now. I will reattempt the Snowflake thing later once I've explored Gillinor some more.
Very nice.
Now, to compare RS3 and OSRS, my experience is that they are essentially two different games played for two different reasons. RS3 is more modern. Its emphasis is more on bossing and comping than the actual painstaking process of leveling, although that's still there, woodcutting and divination as examples. OSRS has, true to its name, retained much of the old process. It makes sense to me that RS3 would accelerate the gain of XP. Most of its player base are playing on accounts upwards of 8 to 10 years old, which would normally make joining the game nigh impossible. The leaderboard is already full up and is largely irrelevant now. So increasing the rate of XP allows new players to jump into endgame content more rapidly so as not to feel left out. The problem is that this creates a vacuum of content between levels 1 and 80 to 90, where most of the things you do feel inconsequential and unhelpful. Returning to RS3 with an account with mid-level stats is nice because you're already so close to being able to enjoy some of the better content where the focus has been for the last few years. For the record, I would never classify OSRS as a better game than RS3, and I wouldn't say the reverse either. They're different things. They're different and do things better in some areas than in others. What OSRS does better than RS3 is engaging players on all levels. The content they make spans all levels of the game and isn't focused only on the end game content. I think the main reason for this is their players tend to prestige quite often. They max an account and start an alt and do it all over again. So they constantly have players engaging with low to mid-level aspects of the game, whereas most of the RS3 is focused around the high-level content. The other thing I've noticed is that RS3 has quite a lot of dead zones, places where no one goes, content no one engages with, and generally just dead. And again, a lot of that can be blamed on things like your lodestones and such, because it has created a lot of those sort of dead zone type areas. OSRS has the benefit of the Snowflake community to spur on interest in a wide variety of content. It would be nice to see RS3 sprinkle content into some of these otherwise dead areas to encourage players to go there. I agree, a couple new master quests in the Mauritania area would be awesome, but so would one on Karamja. The other thing I noticed when I made a level 1 OSRS account, as compared to when I made an RS3 account, was that I had significantly more nostalgia. The graphical interface was more conducive to direct correlations in memories, but it also had characteristics of the old game that don't translate well into RS3's new end-game focus environment. I played a character that could only gain one level at a time in each skill, ensuring that all levels occurred evenly. What this meant for my gameplay was lots and lots of walking. The only teleport I would have access to for a long time was the home teleport, and what this meant is a significant amount of walking to and from Varrock, Felidor, Lumbridge, Elcarid, etc., and using aspects of the game that had proved long out of date. Like having to kill goblins to steal from men and women to pay for the Elcarid gate toll. And I remember doing that all the time too. That used to be, you forget to take money and have to kill them until you got the 10 coins.
Yeah.
Things I remember doing from my childhood. Also, walking to and from Varrock reminded me of the days when we would set up walking chains to lead people to Varrock after they died. I remember even needing one after dying during the Silverlight questline. I died trying to kill the very, very low-level demon multiple times. This was before there was an in-game world map, and also before I discovered places like Rune HQ or Tippet, which had world maps on their site. If you wanted to know how to get somewhere, you just had to know it. I wandered and got lost in RuneScape. Walking over the White Wolf Mountain at level 3 brought back lots of memories of trying to cross the mountain at low levels and dying to wolves because I wasted run energy. Or walking to the Tree Gnome Village and trying to figure out where the damn entrance was. Like, I can see gnomes, let me in. Or walking past Sears Village U's and remembering how much time I spent there. Woodcutting was my first skill to break 80, and all my other skills were sub 60. Or trying to find your nil for the first time, and on and on. I had been playing RS3 for months, but I didn't have a lot of nostalgia for playing it. I had lots of fun playing RS3, but I never walked anywhere. Lodestones and teleports meant large swaths of RuneScape landscape is just kind of sitting there unappreciated with no reason to go there. The world in OSRS and RS3 are functionally about the same size in terms of pixel for pixel landscape, but OSRS feels so much larger. It's weird that RS3 at level 1, when you first start, feels overwhelmingly large, but when you hit around level 20 or 30, it doesn't quite feel that way anymore, while OSRS feels approachable and small at level 1 free-to-play, and feels massive and immersive at later stages. Honestly, as much as I like RS3, and it's the game I clock more hours on by far, OSRS has retained the balance of different modes of travel, allowing you to truly appreciate the majority of the game. There is more incentive to use otherwise niche modes of transport that RS3 also has, but there's no reason to use them. Yeah. There's no reason to use the Keldagrim railway system in RS3, except to do a clue scroll. GE to Keldgrim if you haven't bought the Luck of the Dwarves yet, and your trip there is short-lived. There's no reason to use a balloon system, and the only way to make a really viable, again, is to completely undermine its purpose when it was first made. The best way to describe this is power creep, not in the sense that RS3 has armor and weapons that are too overpowered. I actually think they handle the equipment power creep better than most other MMORPGs I've ever played. I use bandos, torvas, and masterwork armors for different purposes, as well as Armadillo and Pernix/Subjugation and Virtus. But the travel methods they've created made the world uncomfortably small. Sorry. Uncomfortably small. It's akin to simply deleting the space between the various areas. I understand it because walking sucks, and at a certain point a walking simulator is just irritating and pointless. But the result is huge portions of the map space that are just wasted with absolutely no reason to ever enter them or explore them. For better or worse, this is RS3's status now. There's no changing it, and that's okay. But I'd love to see them add content in these otherwise abandoned areas and give us a reason to walk into the forest east of Felidor and south of the Barbarian Village. I don't know, that's just a thought. Motivate me to walk places while still giving me the option to not if the opportunity cost doesn't make the sense to me. Anyway, that's my perspective. I know it's a little long, but I love this game. I love games in general. I suffer from a variety of conditions, specifically depression, anxiety, PTSD, and other things, and RuneScape is a great release for me. Games in general are. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I love your show and everything you guys too. Thanks, Garthixian Doc.
That was very well written.
Very well written and very valid point. I mean, before we got to the end of it, we both made those same sort of points about how it feels small now with the lodestones and not walking anywhere. You had the White Wolf Mountain thing. Yeah, they're things that we remember. And I've said all along, I want to see the Wizards revolt, and there's too much drain on the magic Gillinor and zones. Kraken can no longer be used. That's something I would love to see. And you have to repair them, and it costs you a great deal, and you can only use them a certain amount of times a day.
Yeah. Let's see here. Ooh, let me just queuing up the rants, which means I have to log in. Sorry,
But yeah, no. Thank you, Garthixian Doc. That was I really did.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no! Why?
What did you do? What did you do?
Bladecom, I need you. Actually, I don't even. They might have actually self-deleted this. Botwatch official forum thread is gone. It wasn't even that good, but
Botwatch official forum thread.
Yeah,
I've still got it up here. If you want me to read it.
Yeah, you can. You can. I mean, if you still have it, it's it can hang on its order that it's in.
Yeah. It says, Botwatch official forum thread. It happens all too often. Going for your Slayer task and there's someone there? No biggie. So you examine them, because you're nosy, and you see something weird. Their stats all over the place. Several maybe with only combat stats, and they are mindlessly killing for your entire time there. You finish your task and they are still killing. You come back a couple of hours later, maybe you got another task in the area, and there they are still. Not everyone in this case is a bot, but many are. Wouldn't it be nice if we can go and post on the official RuneScape forums our suspected potential bots or something? In a case like this, after submitting an official report in-game, we can go to the official forum thread and post the name of the player, the world, the location, a brief message about what they're doing and why they are suspected. This could streamline the process and maybe even help the bot watch detection system. Thanks. Now, I have quite often, I do 10 hours of videos where I will go and spend 10 hours at a time in an area killing. And, I've been accused of botting many times where people have come and seen me, and it's like, and half the time I don't even see them talking, because a lot of those things you do AFK. So just because someone is in an area doing lots and lots doesn't necessarily mean they're botting. They may just be money making. A lot of people do a lot of that stuff. They might do 2 or 3 days, hours on end in the same spot because it's a good place for them to earn their GP to buy bonds for their memberships and things.
Goddamn German forums.
Name and shame, I don't think in just because you suspect someone is ever a good thing. If you know someone definitely is, I have no problem with naming them, but I don't want to see. Yes, and then I don't like that.
Yeah, it's really dangerous to name and shame people.
Yeah,
and
because then you can also sit there. I have a fight with Magebit one day, so this guy's botting. I know he comes here because I know you pay hours and hours a day, and I know the certain activity you do. He's botting here. I know he is. Watch him. He's there every day, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, hang on. Even though you're playing legitimately because you have the time to do it and such, and then other people see you, and all of a sudden, you're known as a botter. And no, I don't like that idea at all.
Yeah, that's garbage. Me either. And that's probably why he deleted it after he realized it was garbage. But, you already posted it on the internet, and luckily, Pyrnassius' browser is a lot less forgiving than mine. Australian web browsers, them.
Because we had all the rants, I didn't want to. So I've logged everything and just kept everything open.
Yeah, good for you, because mine has just the only post that has remained open and functional is the post "why." Every other post has not worked. They've all logged me out, and I don't know why.
Wow!
And as I've tried to log back in, it all just puts me at empty. They're all in like French forums now. And when I try to switch over to American, British,
there's something going on then because we're setting the German ones before.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
I think there's something. Maybe they're under attack.
I don't know. What's the next post? And you can
RS3 Idea.
You can either link it to me or read it. Your choice.
I'll read this one because this is one of your pet hate ones where there's no punctuation. He's got. Well, he starts with a starts with a capital R.
Just real quick, I believe I had a subscription from Magnetic Existence. Thank you very much for the sub. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Now go ahead.
Okay,
lots of subs this show. Really, really appreciate that.
All the love. That's fun. Sora King Key, who has an RS3 idea. And let me just drink my potion and hit my Ancient Elven Ritual Shard, and then I can keep going. RS3 should make a new economy server, changing out just 5 servers to test it out. Remove Loot Share, Treasure Hunter, and EOC. Pure legacy combat. They can share updates, but maybe this server can get some rebalancing depending on how well it goes with a legacy interface. Everything else I'll let the community hammer out if they want to, as even a fresh economy can fully utilize invention and the content as a whole. Sure, some bosses may need another idea on how to go about it, like the Kelphite King, but he's honestly all these people who want a more modern RuneScape, but not RS3 or OSRS.
Wow. So, can you interpreter?
I can try and interpret what he means. Basically, it's just a sneaky way of saying, hey, bring back RS 2011, but leave in all the quests and updates that we've sort of had. He wants legacy. He wants legacy combat only. He wants to reset the whole economy. So, you'll obviously start with no items. And things like we might have to look at different mechanics to things like the Kelphite King and such. But he basically just wants 2011 RuneScape. Or RS3 without.
He's part of the Splitscape cult. That's what I'm calling these new.
So that's it.
Just to blanket all these.
Remove EOC.
There's too many of them, right? There's too many of these 2011, 2010, 2006, 2000 and whatever. I'm just calling them all Splitscapers because they're all trying to just split the damn community down the. I'm sick of it.
I want 2014 just before they released. They released OSRS when they just bought in Revolution and such. Can I have that too, please?
You know what?
If everyone's requesting their own year,
I want them to give me the prototype for like 2020. Can they do that?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. See, if you reset the economy and don't change anything, it's not going to change anything, right?
Exactly.
Everyone's just gonna be poor, and then they're gonna
start again, and that's all gonna just
everyone's gonna know all the tricks, and it's just gonna be a rush.
Be a race.
It's gonna
exactly.
It's gonna be a gold rush, basically.
Whoever but there'll be no party hats or anything in it, though.
Yeah, that's true. But it's just whoever has the most free time is just gonna basically make the most money. Well, the combination of RuneScape and EVE Online, that'd be an interesting RuneScape in space. RuneScape in space. If I was gonna stream EVE, I was gonna call the first stream, "This is just RuneScape in space," right? But when I went to stream the epic arcs, it was just, it was mostly fetch quests. So I was like, this doesn't deserve to be streamed. So it's like, Eve, you gotta step up your game if you want to be streamed. But I found a bunch of games that I do want to stream. But now that we have the idea of doing a Iron Man stream, I will honor that first and foremost. But anyway. Lots of ideas floating around in my head. Isn't that RuneScape on role-playing servers? Isn't that just RuneScape? There was an amazing thing that we talked about in a previous show. The last show, I think, there was like that amazing communist server. Go listen to that if you want to hear about like amazing RuneScape role-playing servers. Anyway, next up, what do we got?
Portable Vic only lasts 1 hour. P don't know P, says... I was under the assumption that the portable Vic would last as long as he was summoned. Nope. 19 mil down the drain. He is not savable. He literally lasts an hour, whether summoned or not after activated. Very misleading and ruins the point. Thanks for making me waste 19 mil, Jagex.
So what?
Thunderjinx comes in and says... I really don't see how you read that you can pause him. It never said the 1 hour can be paused while in game, only when you logged out. Once activated, you will be able to use your portable Vic for 1 hour. How long will the portable trader last when summoned? The portable trader will be active for exactly 1 hour, and the timer is paused should you log off. During this time, you can trade and spend earned credits. There will also be a buff on your buff bar showing how long you have left. So people, look that, and activates him, doesn't use him, and then complains because he doesn't know how to read.
I know. No, it's immediately Jagex's fault if
of course.
If you don't read.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that sign said 60 kilometers an hour up there. I thought it was just a suggestion.
I thought it said 600.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was only 60 at the sign, and once I got past the sign, I could do what I like.
Yeah, that's where 60 ended. I wasn't paying attention when you guys started, so I had to rewind to the start of the segment. Yeah, that story was a wild one. When I was reading that, I wasn't actually sure if it was an AI generated article or not, because when I go through, I go through a lot of blog posts that are RuneScape related, and some of them are just gold selling websites that use AI to generate articles and then put links in them for gold selling websites in hopes people will click on them. In that article, I thought was maybe one of those, but it turned out to be an actual legit article, and I was like, wow, this is really weird. Anyway.
No, I just want to... basically, he answers Thunderjinx, who says, it doesn't clearly say it stops. It's a ripoff. I mean, any business with him can be completed in 10 minutes. Why in the hell would 19 mil be worth 10 minutes and have the ability to summon unsummon? Come on, how does this even make any sense? I'm very sad right now. Very, very sad. Can't believe I wasted money on something that is going away in an hour. But hey, at least I can summon him and stare at my money going away.
Because if they gave you 10 minutes, you'd be pissing off saying
exactly.
that I only have 10 minutes to make my decision. What is this, Jag? You fucking... Like, they give you an hour so you're not...
have more, and exactly.
So you're not riddled with anxiety making your choices. That's why it's an hour. Not so you think, not because you have an hour's worth of choices to make, or an hour's worth of services to choose from. It's so you feel comfortable.
comes in and says, Beating that dead cow and hoping some milk is left in it.
Ugh. If you keep beating it, that's not that white stuff that's coming out isn't milk anymore. It's pus.
It's a.
I shouldn't say that while I'm eating yogurt.
Oh, he's still going on. People are trying to. Also found out it's not shareable. Well, you know, they did quite say it's for use on you only.
It specifically says that in the document.
And then he goes on down further. It's kind of like they took an apple and said, here, for 19 mil, you can buy this apple. You can bite it, or you can put it in the fridge after you take a bite and save it for later. But if you let it sit in the fridge for an hour, it'll go bad. Except, why would you take a bite? And then they left it sitting in the fridge if you're not hungry. Why put that much effort into something that only lasts an hour? I mean, it's like, no, you put it in, you can buy it, put it in your bank, and use it in 6 months' time if you want to. Just don't activate it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you take a bite out of an apple and then you stick it in the fridge, it's gonna go bad.
I mean, yeah. People.
Oh, this guy. It's just, she's just arguing with everyone. He goes on for 5 pages.
Of course.
Anyway. Have you got back in yet, or do you want me to continue?
I am trying.
We're up to why I no longer care for OSR. See, I'll pop this one in the link for you.
Yeah, can you just
copy?
Give me the next one you want me to open.
Yep.
Because I guarantee you
can get that one.
It'll open instantly. Everything I try to open seems to just redirect me right back to the general page. But I'm gonna try. Let me try this.
Because they are rants, so you will still have to log in. But yeah,
I log in. Right?
Yeah, but yeah.
I think this one will. This should work, right? Come on, here. Why I no longer care for old school RuneScape. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, this is by Cash, and he says I logged on this account for the first time in over a year to find my friends list almost completely empty. One friend was logged on, whom I guess I added back in the days before old school RuneScape had a grand exchange, but was unresponsive, so I deleted him from my list.
Because he didn't talk to you straight away.
There you go. Why do you think you don't have any friends?
He might have been AFKing, douche.
Yeah. I'm already a player from the old days of RuneScape Classic, but I'm not going to dwell on that and instead focus specifically on old school RuneScape. I made this, he says like it's a bad thing. Like, I'm originally a player from, it's like, all right, whatever. Anyway, I made this account in March of 2013, 1 week after the servers were officially opened. It was great. Tons of players died in their trip to complete the waterfall quest at level 3. Catherby and the Fishing Guild were filled with happy, friendly players. I was having an absolute blast. My goal was to reach level 126, which I had never gotten on the old game. Slayer task after Slayer task, I persevered, and finally, in 2014, I was able to achieve 99 Slayer. I was only one of 170 players to reach this milestone. Then came the Grand Exchange, and my passion and dedication to this game slowly went downhill. I completed every quest just like I remembered them back in the day of RuneScape 2. I enjoyed being in a clan chat, talking to over 100 active players. I even followed a series of live streamers who I loved for their commentary. But the constant changes and tweaks Jagex keeps shoving in this game has done a lot for me to stay away from it. All of the accomplishments that took me around 3,600 hours to get seems to be for nothing. I have 150 days played, usually played for a couple hours every day, doing daily farm runs and slowly working on achievement diaries. I loved the 2014 and early 2015 old school RuneScape. Wow, we're already calling back to the early days of old school RuneScape.
Yep. I was 5 years old now.
But today, it is a completely different beast from the game I remember fondly a few years ago. The only way I would come back to this game is starting from scratch on a hardcore Iron Man account. Otherwise, I couldn't care less. I have constantly been frustrated with Jagex continuously tweaking their game to fulfill the need of other players who want to grind, to be less time-consuming and painful. Today, it's just a matter of hoarding money so someone can buy up the buyable 99 skills. The complete removal of dangerous random events has made this community a lot more AFK. Because seriously, who wants to sit there for hundreds of hours power leveling fishing at the barbarian training spot? The attitude of this community from the most people is they honestly don't care where the game's going, as long as Jagex constantly hands them updates on a silver platter.
Yeah, because what I loved about the whole community voted for updates in this game, and they have to pass with 75%. So 75% of the community wants updates. Now, let's say that they didn't do any of those updates. OSRS would never have made it to 2016. I mean, it's glory days of 2014, 2015. They had to start doing updates because the whole community would have just died. It was purely nostalgia. And it's become a living, breathing creature of its own. It is a different game. It's got different lands of what we have, and they've got a few new quests and things over there. But the way to retain your community and keep people actively playing is to introduce new content. I'm sorry, Cadge, you don't like that, but 99.9999% of the other players do.
There have been good updates. Raids are a great way for clan members to work together to fight a boss. The high-level fight caves offer a challenge that makes Jad look weak in comparison. My problem is games like this have to constantly change to cater to the current generation of players. Yeah, it's called evolution. Otherwise, they die. But I have found most MMOs to get a lot more easier and streamlined. I have absolutely no interest in leveling up this character anymore. I think I have invested enough time for it to be fairly good, but nowadays my account is no better than the countless thousands of others out there that have since surpassed me in virtually everything. I have quit on countless occasions, but I don't know if I'll ever return to this game. I don't really care at this point, unless it's a hardcore Iron. So just make a hardcore Iron Man account then! I'm sorry that you feel devalued. I mean, I too have felt devalued by, changes to the game at one point in time, but you either change your motivations for playing the game, or you change your play style, or you make a new account, or you play a different game.
And actually, I didn't know this, but Faye Simba says, people complain about the GE ruining things, but the fact is that OSRS saw a huge jump in player count once it was added.
You would think. I mean, the amount of accessibility that the Grand Exchange adds.
Yeah, that's when I actually started playing it. I would never have played that game if there was no GE there. When they did add that, that's when I actually went in there and did it.
Can you imagine OSRS Mobile being anything about any form of a success without the Grand Exchange?
Of course not, because you'd have to sit there trying to buy things off people. There's no possible way to work.
Yeah, it just, nope, not happening. By the way, old school RuneScape Mobile up for another award. Not sure if it won it or not, but I'm pretty sure it was nominated for another award.
Excellent. Well done to him.
Yep. Anyway, what's up next? What do we got?
Well, next we've got Shutdown RS3.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll pop Y into the chat for you, so you can read that one and I'll read this one.
All right, cool.
So, because I know you liked Y as well.
I do like Y.
So, I'll read Shutdown RS3. This is by Hayamo. I wish there was a 2011 RS. I keep coming back to this game, but it feels dead and not fun at all. Why do I keep coming back? Because there is no other game like this. But you guys ruined it. If you are not going to improve it, it will die like Club Penguin.
Oh,
how
God.
Old are you?
Club Penguin. Ouch. Listen, Club Penguin it's coming back. It's gonna come back. Don't you worry. We're bringing it back. Pirate servers. Why indeed? Stop coming back and complaining. Exactly.
Here's that one we read earlier by Soren King Key, who wanted his own servers and such.
Yeah.
He's even promoting his here. Still plus, in your opinion, I see Draco. RuneScape 3 should remove Loot Share, Treasure Hunter, and EOC, and make a new economy server that people can have a fresh start on.
Oh, goodness. He's evangelizing for his opinion?
Yep.
Nice.
I mean, yeah. Let's remove Treasure Hunter and just see how successful the company will be after that. Yes, now that they have mobile, I think OSRS would still survive on its own, but there's no way the investors would appreciate a game that has costs of $24 million a year, making $26 million a year.
Yeah, they would. The
$2 million money back, $2 million a year back on your investment is not healthy.
Yeah.
Now you add your Treasure Hunter on there, which all of a sudden makes your investment $50 million a year. Then all of a sudden, oh wow, yeah, we'll keep going and keep pumping money into it.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Jagex becomes a viable company.
Yeah, that's it. And removing RS3 because that will then automatically just anyway. The only way that they could remove our but then all you'll get on OSRS is all that microtransactions put across to there.
Can you imagine them trying to design cosmetics for old school RuneScape?
No, how ugly would they be? Yeah. You could only sell XP boosts and things over there, because that's the only thing worth buying.
Galaxian saying, I really don't know why people don't like EOC. It's actually a really good system that gives depth to the combat. I agree, and that's coming. Well, from me.
So my combat. I didn't do much combat pre EOC. I mean, as I said, I was basically a skiller. I did a little bit. I did a bit of Slayer and such, but it was boring as to me. And once EOC come out, that's where I got into Slayer and got into actual combat because it became fun. So,
right on. All right.
Anyway,
my turn.
Our final one.
All right, here we go. Cherokee Jack finishing us off here with a simple question: why? Why is it that I spend my own money on bonds, get hacked, lose over 80 million, and lose everything only to be told, sorry, we don't replace items? Coming back to this game was a huge mistake. Jagex doesn't care about customer relations once they get your money.
Draco Burns says, did you have auth plus 2-step email?
Cherokee Jack replies, I hadn't set up Authenticator because my current email was compromised. And I waited on that to get sorted, so my account was also hacked while I was on vacation, which is why I found out all of this. So, let me get this. Just hang on. Wait, what? 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 I like Three's response. Time to scan your computer. Like, hang on. So, back up a second here. So, no two-factor on anything, but you knowingly hadn't set up this stuff because your email was compromised, and you knew your email was compromised, and then you went and then just spent money on a compromised account. And you're complaining about that. Is this the worst insurance fraud ever, possibly?
When you said 333 says time to scan your computer, he says, yeah, I took care of everything this morning. Now I'm just dealing with the aftermath of it all. I honestly feel like an idiot for this happening to me, but whatever. They aren't going to help me, so I guess it's time to be a loss I'll have to take. It's like, excuse me, police, I gave that guy over there the keys to my car and he took off in it, and, but yeah, I want it back now, and it's all gone. Can you go and get me my money back from the insurance company for me, please?
My identity was just stolen. Let's buy a house. EOC and classic combat styles have their own niches. OSRS has high skill things like one-tick flicking and mass equipment changes in tick timing, etc. Yeah, that's why OSRS needs macros, as we learned during their last Deadman competition.
Yes. Yeah, which all the high-level players use, apparently, even though they're illegal, and get away with it because they played it on stream and it was all perfectly okay for them. But let the average player do it, and oh no, you'll get.
Well, see, we have ability bars and whatnot that we can use. They don't, so they just use illegal macros. Anyway, that was our last post of the day.
And no, I'm not saying. I mean, to give Gathixian Doc, I'm not saying that OSRS is a worse combat style. I just said it wasn't for me. It was boring to me. That's why I didn't do any pre-EOC. I did very little combat. I mean, I was a skiller. And when EOC come out, I really enjoyed that. And yeah, it had its problems at the start, but they rectified it. The thing I laugh about is everyone who was always I'm leaving because of the combat. I'm leaving because of the combat. Then they brought out what's his name? That little goblin, Spin for the Win. And oh no, we're leaving because of the microtransaction. We're leaving because of the microtransactions. There's always something to blame. People aren't going. 100% of people aren't going to like 100% of your updates and those type of things. I didn't like the combat, so I didn't do it. I just did the skilling. That's what I enjoyed. That's what I stuck to doing. When they brought out Legacy EOC, I enjoyed it, and it's fun. I do play a little bit of OSRS. Haven't been on there for a little while on my other account, but again, I mainly skill on it. I do a little bit of combat, but I am mainly a skiller on there because that's what I enjoy doing. That grindy type. Thing, just doing my fishing, the roof chop agility over there was fun, and just things like that. Both games do have their place, and I do enjoy both games, and I know I do sort of make a lot of jokes about OSRS. It is very tongue in cheek when I do things like that because I do enjoy the game. I just hate all the comments. Close down RS3, and things like that. But yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, and they are definitely two different games. They are not the same game.
That's true.
I will totally 100% agree with you there.
Right on. All right. I think that is a wrap. Let's say you have anything else you want to add.
No, that does it for me. I have been down here since we started the show. So what was that, about little under 4 hours? And I have already got 4 starved ancient effigies. If you want effigies, Sarah Doman, Ziliana gives them out like they're going out of fashion.
Nice. Good to know. If you want to power up... Apparently, they don't power the Dragonkin anymore, though. Spoilers. Whatever. Okay. End cap time. You can find us on social media. We have a Facebook page for you, facebook.com/RS Weekly. Also on Twitter @RS Weekly. Discord chat for you, runescape.chat in your web browser. YouTube channel, runescape.video. Magebit.tv for our Twitch channel. runeweek.com for the podcast if you want to find us on the web. You can find us in-game, Kill, Skill, and Chill. That's Kill, Seal, the letter N, Chill. Or on the web for the clan, runescape.club. You can find my progress, runescape.expert. If you want to support the show, you can do so at Patreon, patreon.com/RuneScape. You can get the pre-show to today's show by supporting the show over there, if you'd like. It was a fairly, I don't know, I was kind of depressing in the pre-show. I don't know. It was a weird pre-show today, but hey, there's tons of pre-shows, and we are coming towards the end of the month, at the beginning of every month. since this is the last Friday of the month, so I should mention this. So on May 1st, all of the pre-shows from 3 months ago become free. I will, of course, announce this on social media when they actually happen. But so there will be a big dump of pre-shows that will become free, basically, in a few days. So I will announce that on social media, but there will be a bunch of free stuff available on Patreon for our non-subscribing fans of the show. So take a look out for that in the coming days. You can do, if you want to support us in a one-time capacity, paypal.me/RSW. Or if you want to check out my personal projects, I do blogs, poetry, and op-ed articles, stuff like that on mainstream stuff, magebit.me. Big special thanks to our top Patreon supporters, Sudwood, Ricky A, and 13 others. We'll be back next week to do it all over again. Thank you so much, and happy scaping. And thank you very much for to Archangel's Hype for the follow. Appreciate that as well. And stay tuned for reruns if you are interested. If you missed any of today's show or want to catch any of last week's show,